Good evening, everyone. Sometimes the obviousness of something is staring you in the face and you don't quite encapsulate it perfectly, and somebody else beats you to the punch. And that was the Beaverton with this headline. It's fantastic. And it says, quote, "Man who has done nothing wrong spontaneously quits job for no reason," with a big picture of Gerald Butts. So hilarious. Very wonderful. And you can read the whole article yourself. Link is in the description. Earlier today, I reported that Mr. Scheer had not said that he would use constitutional powers to build an Energy East pipeline to get Canadian oil to the eastern provinces. That is incorrect, and here are two different videos to prove that I was incorrect. Thank you very much, Mike. And this was from September 25th, where Andrew Scheer lays out a plan on how to get things built and saying that he would absolutely invoke constitutional powers. The reason I believed incorrectly that he had not said this is because Mr. Bernier routinely criticizes Mr. Scheer for not saying the same thing in English as he does in French. And there was a video I saw comparing Mr. Bernier in French and Mr. Scheer in French, where Bernier says unequivocally, "I will build a pipeline," and Scheer says, "We'll work very hard to make a pipeline happen." And he doesn't use as strong language as Mr. Bernier. In this video, he does. And I mentioned that Pierre had also mentioned that they'd use constitutional powers. Here's the whole Pierre Poilievre clip. It's from the Rebel, so I'm not going to play it so I don't get a copyright strike. But he says that too. So it looks like the Conservatives will invoke constitutional powers in order to build an Energy East pipeline. I guess they believe that there's the will for it. This is such a strange interview for Miss Freeland, and the Liberals, all of them, have been giving very, very strange interviews. Miss Freeland name drops Nancy Pelosi. I have no idea. I really don't have any clue what she's talking about. She kind of meanders about Gerald Butts and the big loss. She speaks for a minute about nothing in order to get to Nancy Pelosi. I don't know. Here, watch. Here we go. It's a really terrible looking interview as well. Here we go.
Blow is it to your government to lose Jerry Butts? How much of a blow is it?
So let me just say about Jerry's resignation that it's obviously a sad moment for me and Jerry's many friends and people who really admire the tremendous work he's done for Canada. Having said that, our work goes on. As Jerry said in his own letter, I just came back on Sunday from the Munich Security Forum, where we had many meetings with many of our partners around the world. And I'm looking forward to talking to my cabinet colleagues about the outcomes of those meetings, including an important meeting with the U.S., with one of the U.S. delegations, led by Speaker Nancy Pelosi.
How do you explain why he resigned to begin?
What? Right? Like, what? I don't understand. I have no idea why she took that long walk to get to Nancy Pelosi, but there it is. Me and all of Jerry Butt's friends here on Parliament Hill. Very sad day. What? Oh, weird interview. Weird government. Really. It feels like we're watching the implosion of like the grade 8 class president and his cronies. You know, they're going down for getting that Slurpee machine in there. They didn't actually pay for it. They promised the teachers would pay for it at the end of the year or something. I don't know. Anyway, the Canadian press is reporting case thrown out against former Snc Lavalin exec Stephen Waugh due to delays. So basically, they use every trick in the book, and one of the tricks is if you just run out the clock, if the case has been pending since 2014 or something crazy like that, you can just get it thrown out. And yeah, that's exactly what happened. Oh, just wait another 30 days. We're going to get this changed to the criminal code pushed through in this finance bill. Don't believe me? Ha! Well, just watch, right? I think that was the quote, just watch me. So they did that, and they just kept kicking it down. These charges are different than the Snc Lavalin charges that are pending for the actual company. This is for this actual person. The Snc Lavalin charges that are pending for the company are actually for the company. So I just want to make that distinction. But every legal trick is used to make sure that these people being people who work for big corporations and have a lot of money to pay lawyers a lot of money, use every trick available to them, and that's why they're high-powered lawyers, because they pore over the law books and they say, does this apply? If it applies, we applied it to the court to say we want to utilize this, and here's the precedent, right? Like that's how things work. So yeah, right? If you've got a precedent set in law, then it has to be respected. And so the clock ran out. They knew it. They knew how long they needed to do it, and they did it. So there you go. Is anyone surprised? Two-tiered legal system. You don't have enough money to pay a lawyer to find all of the things that you qualify for, and so you pay the fine or you do the time or whatever. You don't run the clock because you're on the clock, because you got to work, got to make money. Right. Miss Wilson-Raybould was in question period sitting where she usually sits, which when being on the outs of your caucus, and publicly she's on the outs in caucus, and there's a huge drama going on, so everybody kind of had their eyebrows raised. She gives 2 interviews, and I'm going to show you both of them. This one in its entirety, and the other one I'm just going to show you when she confirms that she's a liberal. But she soundly puts to rest any thought that she may be crossing the floor or changing allegiances. My speculation now is that she may want Justin Trudeau's job. Who knows? And she might have the power given to her by the PMO's office themselves. Accidentally, I'm sure, but this is a big enough thing that enough liberals may support a leadership change. Who knows? And I'm certainly not a liberal, so I don't know what they're thinking right now. But they may be looking at Justin Trudeau and saying, yeah, he's a liability. And if they replace Mr. Trudeau with Miss Wilson-Raybould, well, that changes the landscape of this election coming. Very interesting. Here's Miss Wilson-Raybould talking to the press pool. And sorry, this video thing is really annoying. So if it jumps around, I'm going to put it back to the beginning.
Are layered and incredibly complicated, so I'm still working with my lawyer.
Were you pressured by the Prime Minister's office? Were you pressured by the Prime Minister's office?
Still working with my lawyer.
Why did you resign? To get a decision. Are you still a member of the caucus, though? The Liberal caucus, Ms. Wilson?
Do you plan to stay in caucus, Ms. Wilson-Raybould?
I am a Liberal member of Parliament, thank you.
Are you going to run as a Liberal next election?
Were you in the cabinet meeting, Madam Wilson-Raybould?
Okay, so she says, I am a liberal, I'm a liberal. That's kind of it. And here's the second one, and I'm just going to get it queued up. Okay, so this whole walking interview she's been talking with the reporters. It's been very genial. Everybody's been pretty good exchange. Nothing groundbreaking. She just basically keeps saying that she has to talk to her lawyers, and she hasn't finished with that yet. So, but this is the part where she confirms that she is a liberal, and she's staying in Liberal caucus, presumably, I guess. Here it is.
And will you stay in caucus after tomorrow's caucus meeting?
I was elected as a Liberal member of Parliament by the constituents of Vancouver Granville, and I will continue to serve them as such.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
So that's, pretty straightforward, pretty fair. She is getting legal consultation about what she can say. She is spoken to her caucus in private. The Prime Minister made a statement, but I haven't found the link to that yet, so I'm looking for that, so that might be tomorrow. The Senate, however, is also opening an investigation. This is the leader of the opposition in the Senate, and he says, I've given the following notice of motion today in the Senate chamber, and here is the notice of motion. This is a corrected one. I just want to make the distinction. There's a corrected tweet, and I use this one instead of that one, so I just wanted to make sure everybody understood. So it says, by the Honorable Senator, and that's not filled in because it's here, but it's Larry W. Smith, who's the senator. He says, Honorable Senators, I give notice that I shall move that the Standing Senate Committee on Legal and Constitutional Affairs be authorized to examine and report on the serious and disturbing allegations that persons in the office of the Prime Minister attempted to exert pressure on the former Minister of Justice and Attorney General of Canada, the Honourable Jody Wilson-Raybould, PC MP, and to interfere with her independence, thereby potentially undermining the integrity of the administration of justice. That, as part of this study, and without limiting the committee's right to invite other witnesses, as it may decide the committee invites, the Right Honourable Justin Trudeau, Prime Minister of Canada, the Honourable Jody Wilson-Raybould, the Honourable David Lametti, Justice and Attorney General of Canada currently, Michael Wernick, Kathleen Russell, Katie Telford, Gerald Butts, Mathieu Bouchard, Elder Marquez, sorry if I've got that wrong, Jessica Prince, and that the committee submit its final report no later than June 1st, 2019, and that the committee retain all powers necessary to publicize its finding until 180 days after tabling the final report, and the signature would go there. So that'll be tabled in the Senate tomorrow, presumably. Very interesting times. Justin Trudeau is not having a good year. 2019 has not been kind to him. I mean, there's so much going on that stay tuned seems appropriate. There's no ending to this, not yet. There's going to be more political maneuvering. There may be more heads to roll, and the heads may be leadership of the Liberal Party. And again, I'm absolutely 100% speculating, but if this is jail time, maintaining the integrity of the Prime Minister's office becomes more important than protecting Justin Trudeau. And it seems to be about hitting that level now, right? It seems like the Senate's taking notice. It absolutely looks to be one of the most serious incidents in Canadian politics in modern history, I would say. But hey, I could be wrong. Thanks for watching, everybody. Check out the peoplespartyofcanada.ca and have a wonderful evening. I promise I won't do another video today. Probably. Unless Justin steps down. If Justin steps down, I'll probably do another video because, oh my goodness. Okay, but that's the only reason I do another video. Have a great night.